Look no further than Peetz, a Canadian man who has it all figured out.
Yeah, Trump and a decent number of his supporters support Russia because, oh man, and
Strong? How?
we're using like, ooh, Putin invaded Ukraine because the U.S. is woke. A lot of people blaming like diversity and
Oh.
shit like that. And again, because Putin's totally okay with just straight up fucking murdering gay people,
Murdering gay people? What?
Russia's pretty homophobic.
Mm.
And thus, the homophobes, who all deny vehemently that they're homophobic, like Putin as well.
That's nice. Thanks for your lesson.
I have never suffered at the hands of Ukrainians, because unlike Coach Red Pill and unlike Ralph, I have a good ability to shut the fuck up in foreign countries. I don't go around saying stupid shit to people. And it's served me well. I've gone through the Philippines without being beheaded. I've gone through Ukraine without being chased out by Azov Battalion. I've been to a bunch of countries without getting beat up by gypsies. I've managed just fine with my miracle solution of shutting the fuck up. It really works out well. I would strongly suggest it. Are you abroad in a foreign country that you're not a citizen of, or in that you don't speak the language of? Have you considered shutting the fuck up? It's a miracle solution. Almost all of your problems in life can be solved by shutting the fuck up. This is true. This is a panacea to all problems in life. Just shut the fuck up. This is another hot meme that came about just this week. Here we have the ambassador to the United Nations from the United States, and it appears to be a non-human humanoid alien sitting at the table representing the U.S. And you might think, how is this picture real? She's clearly not a human being. Is this an alien? Is this Bigfoot? Who the fuck is representing us in the UN? The answer is Linda Thomas Greenfield, the Biden administration representative to the UN. This is how she looks to give you a understanding. So we take a look at her. You can see her chair, her hair, and then her black mask covering her face. And since she's already black and her hair is like blocking the light, you can't really see her eyes. So when you see it unedited, it looks like a alien being screaming in agony in some sort of foreign alien language. Seems like bullshit, is actually a real picture. In Ukraine this entire time, since before I got there till after I left, he is the man, the myth, the legend, the grandpa of Kharkiv, Coach Red Pill, a doddering old man who has found himself in an active war zone, who just a week before the war was declared was saying there would not be a war in Ukraine. There would not be a war in Ukraine. He was so certain that there would not be a war in Ukraine, he flew out from Kharkiv to Kiev and left his small children and wife behind in a city very close to the eastern border of Ukraine to Russia, to Kiev, which is a mere 50 kilometers south of Belarus, where they're deploying from as well. And he found himself stuck in Kiev as war were declared and the airspace was shut down, and also the railroads as well. He has also enjoyed, as a result of this, a large amount of publicity.
All the System Pig journalists are here. See? All these people, they're all System Pig journalists. They're all like, here to report on how they led Ukraine up the garden path, and now Ukraine is fucked. Yeah. The people pushing the narrative. These are the people pushing the narrative. So you can see them. See them real good. Yeah. And the best part is that they're all staying at a 5-star hotel. A comfy 5-star hotel. While they led Ukraine up the garden path.
Okay, now if you were listening, you would hear the chatter, and you would notice that the chatter died as he started talking. That is not ironic. He's not like just talking to himself. He's in the middle of a room, a nice dining room, and there are all these people around him, and he's just like panning the camera around and shouting that they're pigs, and they can all hear, and they're staring at him. See, he's developed this weird term which is unique to Coach Red Pill. I've never heard anyone refer to journalists as system pigs, but it gets them in trouble. And there is a reason for this, that if he knew anything about Ukraine, I don't know, he doesn't care about the people there. He doesn't care about the culture there. He doesn't care to learn the language there. Like, what the fuck does he get out of being in Ukraine? And apparently he doesn't know that in anyone who has ever experienced the conversation between Russians and Ukrainians on the internet would know the fucking Ukrainian pig meme. At any time that they talk to each other, this is posted.
Внимание! В беседе обнаружен пододусеровый коклашвайн. Срочная эвакуация.
Anytime. There is no way you can avoid knowing what this is if you've ever been on the internet with Ukrainians and Russians talking to each other. So how does he not know that going around and talking to a bunch of Ukrainians and calling them pigs while being ostensibly pro-Russian is a really, really bad idea? Like, just shut the fuck up. Stop trying to impress your Twitter followers with your fucking videos, Grandpa. You're gonna get yourself killed. So, he doesn't learn this lesson, very obviously. And what happens? Well, he's been posting all these videos about his perspective on the war. And what his perspective is that Ukraine is totally fucked. There is no, resistance is futile. There's no point. Russia's going to win. They might as well roll over. And Zelensky is evil, and it's a regime. He keeps calling it the Zelensky regime. It's completely anti-Ukrainian point of view. You may also know, if you are a Kino connoisseur, if you happen to know a lot about Coach, he has previously appeared on Russia Today. They are aware of who he is because he's a Westerner, ostensibly, he's from Chile, who has an anti-West perspective, which is very valuable if you're a propaganda outlet like Russia Today is. So they've had him on to espouse his point of view against the U.S. empire, which I empathize with. But they pulled his recent videos of him talking about the war, and they edited them together into like a 6-minute clip, which he says was much more pro-Putin than he intended to be. But that causes issues for him, unsurprisingly. So I have that video as well, and we're going to skim through it.
Where is Tiffany Dover? If you can hear me properly, I'd appreciate it.
7:09.
Extremely big cup of coffee, because I started smoking again because of the situation, and I'm stressed out, and I'm there at the smoking lounge, and the hotel manager, whom I'd never met before, a very well put together guy. He seemed like a very capable man. He showed up. He greeted me. He knew who I was exactly. I thought that, I didn't quite understand what was going on. And he identified himself as the manager, and I shook his hand automatically. And I thought maybe he had news as to how to get to Kharkov, because I was stuck in Kiev. For those of you who don't know, I was stuck in Kiev. I arrived on Wednesday afternoon, thinking that the war would not start for at least a couple of weeks, and I had some business that I had to take care of in Kiev, and I was only going to go for a couple of days. I was going to fly in on Wednesday afternoon and fly out on Friday afternoon. In fact, I even debated whether to fly out on Thursday afternoon, but it doesn't matter, because on Thursday morning at 5 a.m., bright and early, the Russians invaded Ukraine. And so I was stuck in my hotel, and when my hotel ended, I'd only booked it for a couple of nights. I booked 7 nights, right off the bat, and thinking to myself that probably it'll last even longer.
He's so bad at telling a story. Look, I even clipped these to reduce them down, and he's such a grandpa. God bless him. He's got like a really grandpa way of telling the stories. Like, okay, grandpa, okay, you went to the hotel and then blah, blah, blah. Something else happened. And like, just get to the fucking point. Okay, this does not need to be an hour and 45 minutes of you telling the story.
The hotel staff, they were very helpful and pleasant, and it was all very, very nice, and I had a wonderful time. I had a couple of run-ins with press people that I've discussed in my Telegram channel. Basically, the press people, a lot of the more highfalutin press people, they were all at the Premier Palace, and they were all just so arrogant. And what I hated in particular, there was one man, a big guy, bigger than me. I mean, like a good 2-3 inches bigger than me, and maybe 40 pounds heavier, carrying a camera and looking with that smug, arrogant face. And the man at the reception desk, the employee who didn't need to be there but was there, right? Well, this photographer or whatever he was, this big guy from the press, he was berating the guy at the hotel front desk, and berating him because he couldn't get outside or something like that. I forget exactly what it was. And I was like, dude, and I said to him these words.
He said to him these words.
Внимание! В беседе обнаружен пододусёровый котлашвайн. Срочная эвакуация.
He basically picked a fight with this guy and called him a system pig.
He's trying to help you, you system pig.
Like what a fucking idiot. I really can't even believe it. Vic's coach. And then at 11:20, get out of hotel. So at 7:09, he mentions that the big guy, the manager, comes up and starts talking to him. And then he meanders for 4 fucking minutes because he's a helpless old man with mental health issues, because he's got dementia. It's setting in real early. And then finally at 11:20, he gets to this where he mentions that he's being evicted from the hotel.
Heavy. That's real goddamn heavy, you know what I mean? And so I was like, what the hell are you talking about, right? Because I've done a lot of content on the war, of course, but I don't think, I mean, you guys tell me if you think that I'm a Putin propagandist just for pointing out things that are actually happening, and that how things are going Putin's way, whether we like it or not. I mean, irrespective of where we stand on Putin, well, objectively, he's winning. He's winning this war decisively and extraordinarily quickly. And, you know, to pretend otherwise is just foolish, right? So anyway.
Okay, to sum this up, he is... what's that 2014? Where did I clip at 2014? It just says, how does this happen? How did this happen?
Benway and I talked through this whole situation, and I was like, what the fuck happened? I mean, how the fuck did this guy think that I'm some sort of Putin apologist from the content that I was putting up? Because most of it was just geopolitical analysis or, you know, man on the street kind of stuff, you know? I mean, I'm walking around and this is, you know, here's this, here's that, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I figured at the time, and I was talking to Benway, that it must have been some troll, either a Ukrainian guy who's just pissed off at me and pissed off that Ukraine is losing the war, or just some asshole troll. And, you know, I got lots of enemies, lots of people who can't stand me. I mean,
he explains that Russia Today aired his clip. I'll summarize that. Like, I really regret not putting in timestamps, because, like, he'll start a sentence and say, like, so how did this happen? Well, I was talking to a friend, and then he starts rattling off about the fucking guy that he met and how long he's known him and things that they've talked about together and the time they went out for ice cream and how good the ice cream was and how nice the service was at the ice cream parlor they went to and how excellent everyone was there and how great the ice cream was and how he wishes he could go back and get some ice cream, but he can't because the railways are closed. Oh, and then he talked to this guy and he said, oh, it's because Russia Today aired the media footage. Like, bro, come on, Abuelo. You can wrap it up, Grandpa. You can figure this out. Okay, there's another clip. I'm trying to bash through these. I feel bad now. It's like I really should have like fucking edited these down.
Blanket reaching out to everybody, help me please kind of thing. And yeah, so it must have been like 11:30 in the morning. Like around 4:30, close to 5, he texts me back, hey dude, what's it going? How's it going? Blah blah. And we start chatting, DMing, and I said, you know, I'm stuck here. I can't get out of Kiev, you know, and go back to Kharkov. And he's like, what are you talking about? You can go out by train. And I'm like, no, you can't. And he's like, yes, you can. And I'm like, no, you can't. And he's like, dude, do you speak Russian? Fair point. Low blow, but fair point. Anyway, long story short, he took the trouble to find out about the train schedules and whatnot, and he sent me the information. And the thing is, see, when the war broke out, they canceled all the flights and they canceled all the trains, but they had restarted the trains, okay? And this is very interesting, it seems to me, because the trains are operating not normally, but they're operating, and they're running to and fro all over the country. And my assistant moved ahead and got me tickets for a trip from Kiev to Kharkov that evening, you know. And long story short, I messaged my friend who'd lent me the apartment and told him, dude, thanks so much, but I'm not going to need it because I'm going to Kharkov. And he said, dude, you're fucking insane. You know, the Russians are going to blow up your...
I couldn't go back to Kharkiv because the trains were closed. And then my friend told me, oh, the trains aren't closed. So I told the guy that I made arrangements with, sorry, I appreciate it, but I'm going back to Kharkiv because the trains are actually working. Oh, and then he was very incredulous that I was doing that. Like that's the story, and it took him like 2 minutes to. Fuck it, I'm gonna. Grandpa, I'm sorry, I'm showing this picture. You have made me do it. This is a picture. This is why he wears the hat. Why is he wearing the hat in this picture? Because when he doesn't wear the hat, this is what he looks like. Look at him, chat. He's old. He's old. He looks like a mad scientist, like a fucking cartoon character in Mad Science. Look at how old he is, chat. This is why he can't tell a story. This is the man who's trying to convey information to you, and I'm trying to clip him, and it's not working, chat.